In this video, we are going to look at the chart of accounts in Xero. It may sound a little bit technical, but the basic idea is quite simple, and it is worth understanding because your chart of accounts determines how useful your financial reports will be down the track. The chart of accounts is the backbone of your accounting system. I like to think of it as a filing system in reality. Every business transaction needs to be recorded or filed somewhere. That somewhere is an account where similar transactions are grouped together. For example, you might have one account for sales income and another one for interest income and separate accounts for motor vehicle expenses, advertising, subcontractor, or software subscriptions. Your chart of accounts is simply the complete list of these accounts. That's it. It's a structured list of the categories you can use when recording transactions in Xero. It is really like a folder system for your business transactions. And this matters because your financial reports are built from these categories. For example, if you code everything to general expenses, and I have seen that in real Xero files, your profit and loss report will be rather short and will not tell you very much at all. You will know that the business spent X amount of money, but you will have no idea what it spent the money on. You will not be able to clearly see how much was spent on materials, subcontractors, advertising, wages, travel, or motor vehicle costs. Even Xero's inbuilt AI checks can't help you understand your spending patterns if everything is lumped into one account. So before you begin recording transactions, it's worth checking whether the chart of accounts makes sense for your business. So where do you find the chart of accounts in Xero? You need to go to Accounting and then select Chart of Accounts. If you don't see it in this menu here, go to Accounting Settings and select the Chart of Accounts from here. Here on the screen, you will see the complete list of accounts. Xero normally provides you a standard chart of accounts as a starting point. It may be suitable for some businesses, but it is still only a standard list. You should review it and adjust it so that it reflects what your business actually does. Across the top, you see these tabs: Assets, Liabilities, Equity, Expenses, and Revenue. Don't be overwhelmed by these categories as just yet. These tabs simply filter the accounts according to their main account type. For now, we can remain on the All Accounts tab. Here you can see the account code, account name, the account type, the tax rate, and the year-to-date balance. Let's talk about the codes. The accounting code helps keep the chart of accounts organized. In some countries, it may be otherwise, but in Australia, the numbering structure is totally up to you. You can use 3 digits, like in the standard chart of account, 4 or 5 digits, or any other consistent system that works for you and your business. Some businesses arrange their accounts alphabetically within each category. Others group similar accounts together using account codes. It's a good idea also to start all accounts within one account type with the same number, like in the standard chart of accounts. Revenue accounts begin with 2, the direct cost account begin with 3, expenses with 4, and so on. The exact numbering system is not the most important part. What matters is that the system is consistent, easy to follow, and appropriate for your business. Don't make it unnecessarily complicated, but don't keep the standard structure simply because it was already there. I always advise my clients to think backwards. As the business owners, you should ask yourself, what information do you want to see in your reports? What numbers are important to you? What questions should your reports answer? And what information do you need when making decisions? And based on that, you can decide on your chart of accounts. For example, if you want to see your direct labor costs separately, you will need separate account for them. If you want to see separately how much was spent specifically on fuel, motor vehicle registration, or repairs, one motor vehicle expense account won't be enough for you. You would need to have one for fuel, one account for registration, and one for repairs to easily answer your questions at any point in time. Honestly, the goal is not to create an account for every tiny expense because that's not a good practice. That would make the system difficult to use. Your goal here is to create enough detail to make your reports meaningful without making the chart of accounts unnecessarily complicated. Now that we cleared all of this, let's get to action and add a new account to our chart of account. In this example, I want to create a revenue account for commercial painting income. So I will click Add Account. First, we need to choose the account type. This is important because the account type determines where the account appears in your financial reports. For income, you would normally choose revenue. For expenses, you may choose direct costs or expense depending on the nature of that expense. Xero also provides a short guide of the account types here on the right-hand side of the screen. So, of course, I will select revenue. Next, we need to enter the account code that fits in our numbering system. In this file, the income accounts are in the 200 range. There is currently only one sales account, so I will use the next account code, which is 201. For the account name, I will enter commercial painting. You can also add a description. This can be useful when several people use the Xero file or when the purpose of the account may not be immediately obvious. Next, the tax rate. If the business is registered for GST and ours is, and this is taxable Australian income, the tax rate is GST on income, so I will choose that one. At this introductory stage, we will leave the remaining options at the bottom unticked. These relate to more advanced features that can be considered later. If you are happy with it, click Save. The new commercial painting account has now been created and it's ready to use. Now let's edit an existing account. I want to rename the standard sales account to domestic painting. Click the account name to open it. The screen is exactly the same we saw when creating the new account. Any details can be changed here. However, be careful when editing accounts in an established Xero file. Some changes, particularly changing the account type, can have significant impacts on your reports you may not anticipate. As I want to rename the account, I enter the new account name and update the description so that it reflects the purpose of the account. I leave the remaining fields unchanged and save. We can now see that instead of having one generic sales account, the business has two separate revenue accounts, domestic painting and commercial painting. This will allow the business to see how much revenue is being generated by each type of work. Xero also allows you to import a chart of accounts. This can be quite useful when switching from another accounting system. However, a full migration is a more advanced setup process, so we will not cover it in this introductory video. To sum up, the chart of accounts is the backbone of your accounting system that provides structure behind your financials. Xero standard chart of accounts may be a useful starting point, but you should always review it and adjust it to suit your business. Keep the chart of accounts simple and easy to follow, but make sure it still gives you meaningful information you require. When someone looks at your chart of accounts, they should be able to get a reasonable understanding of what your business does and how its financials are organized. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comment section below. If you found this video useful, please share it with someone who might also find it interesting. See you in the next one.